Hey guys, so yesterday was my birthday, which makes today the first day of the last year in my 40s. Next year at this time I will be 50, and I'm not sure how to feel about that. On one hand, I wonder, where have these years gone? I mean, I don't feel 50. I don't feel like I should be 50. Oh wait, I'm not, I'm 49. And then I think, wow, I wish I would have started all this 10 years earlier. To be living through all of this and doing all this when I'm 39. That would be awesome. But then I think 3.5 years ago, I thought I was at the end of my life. And so when you go through something like that, it does give you a wider view of things. So I'm caught between those two things right now. Happy I'm alive, happy I'm still here, so grateful for where I am and what I'm able to do, but still melancholy for the advancement of years. I am, however, super grateful and super blessed with my health now. After that event, 3 years ago, I went on a journey to change my entire lifestyle and diet, and I know that now I am probably fitter and healthier than I was 10 years ago. So that's what I'm going with. I'm 10 years younger biologically, even if it's not in years. But I do have something exciting to talk about with you guys. It feels like now that Daisy's going to be here in, 2.5 months? It feels like everything is going to be speeding up now. If you've watched the last few videos, you know that we've had some wildlife issues. And I said on one that I didn't feel like there would be mountain lions in the area because I've never seen deer in the area, and I figured those things would go hand in hand. Well, I actually talked to another neighbor. He moved in just a few months before we did, so he's fairly new to this area also. But he said recently he has actually, behind the cottage, there's like a pastury grass area, and then behind that there's a macadamia nut orchard. And so he said recently he saw 2 deer up in that orchard one morning early. So I guess that's another check on the different wildlife that we do have here. However, to keep Daisy safe, I mentioned we're going to be able to lock her in while she's still a calf at night to keep her safe. And I also mentioned a livestock guardian animal, dog. We narrowed it down to a Maremma. They are an Italian livestock guardian animal. They've been bred that way for centuries. And there was actually a breeder that is less than an hour away from us. And she is a reputable breeder. I know a few of you had some concerns. You might watch Goldshaw Farm. And I know Morgan got Abby, I believe, from a breeder in California. This is not the same one. So we talked to her, and she doesn't have any puppies right now. In fact, she doesn't have any dogs who are expecting puppies yet. So the soonest we would be able to get a puppy probably wouldn't be, she has one that's going into heat at the moment. And so, but even then it takes a couple of months to have the puppies. And then it takes at least 8 weeks to be able to wean the puppies off the mother. So we're talking like 4 months until we actually bring home a puppy. And then you got to let that puppy grow and you got to train it. However, she has a 9-month-old that she was actually going to be using for breeding, but didn't have a match for it. And so the breeder said she's available. So we'd really be fast forwarding kind of a year, which is what we need. Now, do we want to go through the cute puppy phase? The cute part, yeah. But the puppy phase, been there, done that several times, and it is taxing. And I don't want to screw the dog up. They come hardwired with the way to do things, and looking after your animals. And this 9-month-old has already been with this breeder, and she's been training him already. She's been training her to go in with chickens and go in with animals and not freak out and try to chase them around. So she's already to that point. But I'm not sure we're to that point to be able to, go out there today, and if everything goes right, bring a dog home today. So it's going to be important to talk with the breeder and let her know what we've got going on here, and maybe work with her to, I don't know, put a deposit down and then have her hold the dog. I don't know. We're gonna go completely open-minded and gonna absorb whatever knowledge she has to give us for timing and all of that. So that's today at 4 o'clock. And we'll be taking probably some video and pictures so you guys can see her. So I wanted to let you guys in on that. Also, you know, if you watched our video a couple days ago, you saw Emilie decorating the inside of our house for fall. And we're gonna be doing that in some of the outdoor spaces as well. The other day we were at Costco and they had these huge mums. Look at all the buds on there. So I absolutely had to get them, and they are gonna replace the plants that were here for the summer. I've also got this dwarf Italian cypress. We're gonna relocate to the Mediterranean garden, and then just have 2 huge mums, one in each of these containers on either side of the garage. Possibly, you know, put some fall leaves around them or something. We'll see. Hey guys, it's the next day. It is a beautiful day. It's actually 75 and sunny. Gorgeous. So this is the first time I've had a chance to see inside the cottage on a sunny day. And even though it's brighter in here, it's still not, there's not as much natural light in here as I would like. And several people mentioned hanging lights in here. And yes, I will do that for nighttime, but our rabbits are gonna be in here. And I want them to have as much sunlight as possible. So I think what I'm going to do is take these 3 panels off and get a couple of clear panels and just go opaque, clear, opaque, clear, opaque. That way there'll be a lot more sunlight coming in here, but not full strength. And even in the summer, if it gets a little bit too much sun, I could hang some shade in here. So that's the plan as of right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the 3 off and then go get some clear. I can't do the tinted. It will have to be the fully clear because the tinted doesn't have this same corrugated pattern to fit, interlock into the other ones. It's got more of like a flat and then a raise up V and then a flat and then a raise up V. So as I mentioned yesterday, yesterday afternoon, we went to see the Maremmas. And I was not prepared for the dogs we met. When we pulled up to the property, there was a gate and it said, warning, livestock guardian dogs on duty, don't come in without a escort. Okay, so we went past that gate, then there was a second gate with the same sign. And we kept on going and we pulled up to the house, and all of a sudden there were these 3 huge dogs. Like, I wasn't prepared for the size of the dogs. I was thinking a little bit bigger than like a lab or a golden retriever. No, much bigger. And they were kind of just slowly walking out to the car. And I looked at Emilie. I didn't see the breeder yet. And I looked at Emilie and I was like, do we get out of the car? Are we going to be attacked? So Emilie kind of just opened her door. And I heard her talking all high-pitched and sweet to this dog. And I'm like, okay. So I opened my door. And there was a big white head right there at the door. But just as friendly as can possibly be. I mean, I held out my closed fist just for him to smell it, and he just was like nudging it, wanting me to pet him, or her, I don't know. And we got out of the car, and all 3 of these big dogs just were leaning against us, just wanting love. And then the breeder came out, just super nice lady, Sarah. And we talked for a little bit, and the entire time the dogs were just, wanting attention, but in a good, respectful way. And then she took us down to another area where, interestingly enough, there was a Dexter cow named Pearl. And, Daisy is a Dexter cow. So that was shocking because they aren't really that common here especially. And in there with Pearl were 3 other Maremmas, including the one that we were going to be looking at, the 9-month-old. They were a little bit hyper, a little bit, kind of wanting to get us. We were outside the fence, not get us, but they were just big dog. And each one just, friendlier than the last one. And then the 9-month-old who we were looking at, she is already big. I think she might weigh 60 pounds, 70 pounds. Her dad, though, was in that same area with us, and he's 175 pounds, I think. And the breeder thinks that the one we were looking at is going to be 150, 160. I've never had any dog that big ever. But at one point, it backs up to part of the perimeter or hill on her property, and she called that Coyote Alley. Just coyotes go by there, mountain lions. And what she said was, which really kind of sealed the deal. I'd already fallen in love with these dogs after being there 10 minutes. And I'm not that way typically with dogs, especially large dogs. I've never been drawn to large dogs. But what she said was that there could be, 3 or 4 coyotes walking right there in full sight of these dogs. And they won't bark. They won't get up. They'll watch them. But she said that they have this ability to understand intent. And if at any point they feel that there is intent to do anything other than walk by, she has sheep, she has chickens, turkeys, cow, horse, then they're up and they're ready to do what needs to be done. And we noticed something like that yesterday. We were all in this little corral area talking to the breeder, Sarah, and petting the dogs and giving them all the love. And all of a sudden, I think there were 4 dogs in that pen. And all of a sudden, at the same exact time, they all started barking and they were at attention. And none of us knew what was going on, but there was obviously something that they sensed that they didn't like. But it was just a very quick few barks, at attention, looking around, and then all of a sudden, they were back to us. So I really liked that. Another thing she said, because we're not super far from our neighbors here, right? I mean, this is 1.5 acres. We've got neighbors on all sides. Granted, they're much further away than the neighbors at our old house, but I don't want people to have to be hearing dogs barking all night because these dogs might hear something. And we've been told by a lot of people who have Maremmas that that's not what Maremmas do. Maremmas will bark, figure out what's going on, and stop. Or just not bark at all until they know something's going on. Another thing we liked was that as guardian dogs, they were very friendly to us as strangers because they could tell we didn't have the wrong intent from being there. Whatever it was, Emilie and I and Noah, we fell in love with these dogs. So suffice it to say, our plan is, we haven't told Sarah this yet, probably should call her today, but we do plan on bringing home the 9-month-old. And because of the reason I already told you, if we were to wait for the puppies to be born and then grow up, and it would be another year before we would actually have a livestock guardian dog guarding our calf, who's coming in 2 months. And so Sarah said that, this 9-month-old, she'll be almost a year by then, she'll be perfectly capable of taking care of that calf, of Daisy. So it looks like we have a couple of things we have to do here to have our property ready for this new dog. But it looks like probably by the next video, we will have a new livestock guardian dog, Maremma, here on our little farm. But I look forward to introducing you all to her. This is a picture of her right here, and it absolutely shows the personality that we saw from her yesterday. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and something she's needed here. Daisy needs her. Boomer needs her, even though he doesn't realize he needs her, because ever since we saw the tracks from that mountain lion, it's been kind of scary letting Boomer out, especially at night, the last trip out to go to the bathroom before bed. I take a flashlight out first, and I kind of look around the front, and then let him out if everything looks okay, but you never know where a mountain lion could be crouched and hiding. That won't happen when we've got a livestock guardian dog here. Our first intent was to have her just kind of locked in this whole pasture area, so she had basically wherever Daisy was going to be, that's where she had to run. Now, though, our plan is to have her be able to come in and out of the pasture and just run, the entire property that we have here. So that will protect all of our animals, including the indoor dog. How pretty this cottage garden looks in this sunlight. Look at this. I've got a pumpkin all the way over here. It's growing all the way through, all the way from over there. So before the dog gets here, a couple things we have to do. First of all, we have 2 gates that open and close to enter and exit the property. And so we're gonna have to train her to not run out those gates when they open for a car to come in or out. We've also got the open situation here where the dump truck's back through, and that's gonna have to be temporarily fenced off. Thing, you know, quick and easy to move out of the way when we have a dirt delivery. And then the other plan is, according to the breeder, because she is of this age, when you bring a puppy here, the puppy kind of doesn't know anything else, and so it quickly becomes their territory. But because she's 9 months old, we need to keep her in a kennel for the first, 3 or 4 weeks. And so we have this old kennel here that's I think 8 by 8 that came with the house. It was just here. So I'm gonna put that up, figure out a spot to put that, make it cozy, and she'll be out of that on a leash. We're supposed to be taking her on walks multiple times a day around the perimeter of the property, let her sniff around, let her get used to it, let her mark her territory. So that's the plan. So all of these other fences and things don't have to be done this moment before we get her, because for the first 4 weeks, she won't be allowed to just roam around the property by herself unattended. I think what I'm gonna do now is take these mums out of their pots here and get these cleaned out, these 2 pots, and plant them in there. Oh, also, I just got this. These are the subsurface drip lines, and I'm going to be trying those out here in the clover lawn all the way around this whole cottage garden. They sound really cool, and if they work, it's going to be a game changer for lawns. To be able to water your lawn by drip and not by sprinklers, I mean, that's going to save a ton of water. So when I set those up, I'll definitely take you along. Look at the difference when you take the plastic off. I don't think they need anything else. Man, when all those buds open up. I'm actually thinking we need to go back to Costco because they had more of this, but in different colors. They had a burgundy purple one, which I'm thinking put those in those 2 containers. Let me know. What do you think? I planted the 2 Italian cypress in these pots until we're ready to have them have their final location. So that's it for this video. I hope in the next video I have a bouncing semi-baby dog to show you. We'll be bringing her home. We have a name kind of picked out. We'll probably share that on the next video. So I'll see you guys then.